Welcome to the 700 Club. President Trump's deadline for a deal with Iran expires this week. And now comes news that Tehran carried out nuclear implosion tests 20 years ago.
In Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu's government is facing a threat from within. The U.S. ambassador to Israel told CBN News the political parties threatening the coalition should consider the consequences. Julie Stahl has more.
President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke on the phone Monday as U.S. talks with Iran over its nuclear weapons program continue, but with little progress.
We discussed a lot of things, and it went very well, very smooth. We'll see what happens.
Trump's two-month deadline for Iran to agree to stop its program for developing nuclear weapons runs out this week.
They are good negotiators, but they're tough. Sometimes they can be too tough. That's the problem. So we're trying to make a deal so that there's no destruction and death. And we've told them that, and I've told them that, and I hope that's the way it works out, but it might not work out that way.
The Iranians claim their nuclear program is for civilian nuclear power. The International Atomic Energy Agency is now revealing that 20 years ago, Iran carried out implosion tests that are only needed in developing atomic bombs and have no civilian use. The Iranian regime is threatening retaliation if the IAEA censures its nuclear program or if Israel launches military strikes against Iran's nuclear sites. They also warned an Israeli strike on their nuclear facilities would spur them on to develop atomic bombs.
The Islamic Republic of Iran has prepared a series of steps and measures. The other side is more or less aware of our capabilities and capacities in this regard.
America's new ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, told CBN News that Trump means what he says.
I don't know that we take Iran at its word. They normally don't keep theirs very well in the 46 years that they've ruled that country. But I would take President Trump very seriously when he says they will not have a nuclear weapon.
Israel is also facing trouble from within. Ultra-Orthodox parties of Netanyahu's ruling coalition are threatening to bring down the government. The issue is legislation that would force many ultra-Orthodox to serve in the military like the majority of young Israeli men. For decades, they've been exempt from military service by replacing it with religious study. Huckabee was pulled into the controversy when ultra-Orthodox parties asked to meet with him, sparking criticism from the opposition. He says both sides need to work out a plan, and it's not for the U.S. to intervene. However, a collapsed government would not look good.
It would create an extraordinary sense of anxiety because it will be viewed as instability.
In Gaza, some Palestinians continue to accuse Israeli troops of attacking Gazans seeking aid, but provide no evidence. Meanwhile, the new Israeli and American program to provide millions of meals to feed them continues.
Israel has delivered over 1,200 truckloads in the last 2 weeks.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, pray for Israel. If the government dissolves at this crucial point in time, it is incredibly bad news. I don't know why there's so much instability in the Israeli government. It seems to be plaguing them now for years. And I think that instability is what prompted Hamas to launch the October 7th attack. That they saw weakness within Israeli culture. If you remember, in the year, 2 years prior to the attack, all of the demonstrations, the question about what is the authority of the Israeli Supreme Court, all of that occurring in the number of elections that they had to have in order to have a stable government. Now's not the time for that. Now's the time to make sure you completely eliminate Hamas in Gaza. Where it's so close to victory, you will lose that victory with your internal conflict. So let's pray for Israel. Let's pray for peace in the region. And what wonderful news that the people of Gaza are finally getting food, and they're doing it outside of Hamas. Hamas stole the relief, was then selling it back to the population in order to raise money for more arms. That is a wonderful story.